Hello, Joy.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Dr. Francis.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, sir.
Where are the others now?
I don't know. Maybe we can give them 2 minutes. So, I mean, if they are not here by 1:05, then
Okay.
we can move on.
All right, that's fine.
Hello, Dr. Francis. We are about 4 now. Maybe we can start. Others will be joining us.
All right, no problem. I can start now.
Yes, sir.
So what did we do yesterday?
Yeah, I think we stop at the rules of clean data. We look at how to pivot table and the use of a stack on pivot table.
Okay.
We also look at the libraries in R, and the fact that Python uses index 0 and the R uses index 1. Then you said that we are going to do how to visualize in R before we move on to something else.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So normally before you jump into your analysis, there's a whole lot of things you need to take into consideration. Okay, so it's not just about jumping into writing code. The code is the list of your problem. You need to understand what you need to do. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you know how to import your data. You know how to explore the data, which we call exploratory data analysis. Try to understand the data. Okay, when you understand the data, you now know what to clean. Okay, and in the process of cleaning, there are sometimes you may not be able to use the entire data set. So you need to learn how to select certain columns, certain rows. So that's data manipulation. Then you clean your data up, then you can start your analysis. So in analyzing it, you can first of all do a descriptive statistics, right? You also have an idea. And again, that is part of what you may do in your EDA. You may do your correlation analysis, then you may do your hypothesis testing and do your prediction, okay? And also you can also visualize your data. So that's just basically so you must just think through how you want to work with your data. And we give some guidelines. How do I know if my data looks clean or not? Okay. We gave some certain parameters, isn't it? What you look out for. Okay, you should not have special characters. You should not have, check your data types are correct. Avoid duplicate rows, misspellings, right? Spaces, missing data, right? So, and again, we already understand the structure of a proper data set, isn't it? You should have one row of header, no empty rows, no empty columns, no total, right? All dates on a single column. Which other one again? What again did we mention? Yes. What again did we mention?
Did you mention no data around the table or something like that?
Yeah. So because sometimes when there are obstructions around the data, that will then lead to empty columns. Okay, that can lead to empty columns. All right. Okay, now let's look at some aspects. So again, we looked at which data sets are we looking at this today? So we know before we bring you, we have to bring in the libraries, right? So what library are we using? Which libraries are we using? Yes, which libraries are we using?
Dplay and tidyverse.
Tidyverse and deep. So just like in Python, the way you have your NumPy and Pandas, right? So that's the same way you bring these ones. These are the two popular ones, but they are quite a lot. But these are the major ones first. Unless you need something more advanced, then you look for the library that will solve your problem. But most data analytics you are going to do, these two will solve it for you. Majority, but sometimes you may still need more. Okay. Then we said, for example, if I want to get a data set, right? So you know how, because with tidyverse already, you already have some inbuilt data already. So if I put data, if I type data.
Sorry, are you sharing your screen? I'm not seeing,
Am I sharing my screen?
because I'm not seeing what you're doing.
Okay, can I see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
you can
it's
see it
up
now.
now.
Okay. So this is the list of all the data sets, right? So if you want to check the data set, so let's say which one can we use? Okay, let's use mSleep. Okay, good. If you want to know what about this data, just put question mark mSleep. Then you see the data, normal sleep data sets. So they will explain everything for you. Can you see all the variables there? So they just explain what it is. Now, for example, when you are exploring your data, right, you want to first of all understand. So if I want to view the data, so remember view mSleep. So I can just view that. So I will see the data like this, isn't it? So I can look at the data just like I have it in Excel. And you see that just like I have it in what? Excel. Okay. Now, if I want to summarize everything, so what I want to just see all the characteristics of the data. So I type on glimpse of what? Sleep. Okay. So this will just show me the data type and what you have there. So you can see the name. So all these are characters. So characters are just like text, normal text or nominal data. Your nominal variable. This double means it has what decimals. Okay. So we have seen that.
Sorry, Dr. Francis, can you explain the difference again between the question mark, view, and glimpse? I know the last one you said is the character.
Which one?
That no, the different the commands, the question mark, view, and glimpse. Just the differentiation.
Okay, view. View means just see the data like you have it in Excel.
Okay.
That's view the data.
Okay.
Glimpse, just like saying, English language, when you say glimpse, let me have a glimpse. What does it mean? Let me just glance through what the
Glance,
data
yes.
looks like. So that's what it's doing there.
Then
So
the
you just
question
see
mark.
this question mark. Okay, when you're not sure of what it is. So for example, if I don't know. So question mark is I don't know. Can you see that?
Okay.
Maybe view.
Okay.
Then to now like help. It's like help. Then to now help you and give you the documentation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So anytime you have any problem, just put question mark, then type whatever you want. All right. Is that okay? So if I put mSleep here, if I put mSleep and I still run it here, it will still appear here. Can you see that? This is still the data. But if it doesn't appear properly here, that's why I now use view. So it can now appear like in Excel. So let me take this guy out so you can see it fully. Can you see that? It's not like looking like in Excel. Okay, so that's what we do. So again, so another way of doing it, if I put it in square brackets, so you see that in square brackets, it's still the same way when I run it. But the difference now is that I can now select what I want. And remember that R uses index, isn't it? It uses what? Index 1. Okay, so it's read. How do you read it? You read it row by what? Column. Okay, so anything to the left of this your comma is your row. Anything to the right of your comma is what? Your column. So you read it row by column. So if I say row 1, column 1, can you see that? Row 1, column 1. Can you see that? So if I check it, row 1, column 1. Clear? So that's how you got that there. So if I want the first 10, let's look at it. So if I want the first 10, so it will be what? Row 1 to what? First 10 will be what? Row 1 to what? Row 1 to 10. So let's say I want to select the first 5 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see it? So
Yes.
it's named to conservation. Okay. So it will be row 1 to 10. Okay. Column 1 to what?
5.
Column 1 to 5. So can you see that now? So let's check. So 1 to 10. So named to conservation. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So that's just basically what you do there. So most times, if you want to select them, that is where you now need the M slips. So you can type it. So that's where your D player comes in. So I can now select. So for example, I want to select what now? Everything. So anything on my left. Okay, let's just even select the columns. So let's say from name to where? Name to where? Conservation. So let's run that and check. So you see, it still runs it the same way. Can you see that? It still runs it the same way. But again, if I decide to say, give me everything, that one means give me all my words,
Rows.
all my rows, then give me these columns. Okay. Again, sometimes if I want to show everything, then there's this is called everything. I can run that to show you everything. Can you see it now?
So, Dr. Francis, when you didn't pick, why did he still give us 10 rows? At that
You know, because it will tell you to abbreviate it now for you. If you want to see more, it will show you all the other ones.
Okay.
You're the one that will select what you want. You're the one that will select what you want.
I mean, that time you selected only 5 columns. It still gave
Yeah,
you.
you know, normally by default, it will not give you everything. It just give you some and stop. So because it's small, that's why you're seeing that 10 like that.
Oh, okay.
So normally you just select everything for you. That's why if you want to see everything, you just use your view and you see everything as you want. Can you see that? And again, remember you can assign it. So because this is the original data set, so I can say, for example, sleep 1. So if I say sleep, so this data set, I want to call it sleep. M sleep. So you know what it's doing there now, right? You know what this one is doing? You are assigning this data to this thing called sleep. Isn't it? So if I run sleep now, if I say view sleep, it will run the same data for me. So it's just like I'm duplicating the data. Okay, just like I'm duplicating the what? Data. All right, so those are the little things that we have looked at. So we have seen again, did I show you how to, I showed you how to select your data, right? I showed you how to select your data. For example, let's say you want to select specific columns in a particular order. So let me run that again.
Excuse me, sir. Please, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask for the 2 libraries, tidyverse and dplayer, is it only piping that is the function or whatever we need them for?
No,
Are there other
like all this, no, there are so many now. So for example, there are so many now. So you see like that this select.
Yeah.
You can't do it normally now with your native R.
Okay.
Now. You can't do it without that library. It's just for data manipulation. So that select, if you don't bring it on, you cannot run select. So those are the differences.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Because you have quite a lot you can do with it, right? You have quite a lot you can do with it. For example, the filter, right? You cannot filter if you don't have, you can only filter this way with your native R, but you cannot use filter as a function. So let's say, for example, sleep. So let us select. Now, if I want to see the names of the column, how do I? So either I call names, sleep, right? We want to see the names of the column. So those are the names of the column. So for example, I want to select now. Let's say I want to select name. I want to select what now? Order. Let's say I want to select what? Okay, sleep total. Let's say sleep total. Right? Then what do I want to do now? Then I want to filter. You see, without the library, you cannot do this. Without the library, I cannot do this. So I'll say where order. So if I want to see the unique values there, you know, there's a function called unique, isn't it? So unique what? So if I want to call each column, then I have to call the table name first. Then I'll use the $sign. I can now call the column. So for example, for name or for order, let me see order now. So this is for the unique. So these are the unique orders now. Can you see that? So I can now read the names, what I want. So let's say I'm looking for which one now? Okay, let's say carnivora, where order is what? If in case the spelling is disturbing, you just copy the spelling here. So you don't make mistake, because remember it is extremely case sensitive. But once you just miss one thing, then that's the end. Okay. So let's say order or order is, let's say, which one now can we take? Okay, let's see this one. Oh, okay, let's use primates. So that will be easier. All right, so once we are done with that, then we can read through. So if I want to view it straight, then I can just say view. Then I can just view everything at once. So that's it now. Can you see that? So it will only give me carnivora or primates. You cannot see that in there. Okay, because remember why this is important is that you don't always use the entire data set. So you need to learn how to select your data, because not everything you are always going to use. Okay, it's not everything you're always going to use. So is this clear?
Yes, sir. Now, so I noticed that, sorry, that comma also works in, like if you say this order equals to this, or like comma, then
yes.
order. That also brings it out for you.
Yes, it also brings it out. Because remember, when it's looking at it like a data frame, you know, it's data frame, right? So anytime you hear a data frame is a table. So you read it as row and column, and it's that comma that separates the row from the column. So that's why that comma works there. Okay, so if I want to arrange it, then I can do it this way too. So I have carnivora, then primates. Can you see it's all arranged now? Okay, great. So that's about selecting data, ordering the data. So we have looked at that. Okay. But another thing again we can do, okay, let's use smaller data sets. So I think with smaller data sets, I think we can understand the message. Because whenever I use huge data, if you cannot see the entire data, you may not understand everything that is happening at the back end. So let's try and create a simple data set. Let's create a simple data set. So remember, if I want to create a data set, so let me say data. You know, I can use this or equal to, so, but most times this is best practice they use. So data frame, right? So I'll first of all call the name. So let's say, okay, let's say Lagos. Let me use Lagos. So let's say Lagos. NA means what? When you see NA,
Not
Not
available.
available.
not available, that's like missing data, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So 7, let's say, okay, let's say 1, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, comma. Then let's use another one. Let's say Abuja is equals to, you know what this CB is we like concatenate to combine them, right? So let's say this one we have 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's say NA. I think is it so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. So let's maybe put one more because they have to be the same structure also. So let's say 9, comma. So let's say another one. Let's say begin. So here, let's say we have what now? Okay, let's say we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Is that 6?
No.
16.
Mhm.
What I would like to do. Okay, let's run this and check. So if I type data, so can you see the data now?
Yes.
Can you see the data now? Now let me replace this 4 with NA. Let me replace this 15 with NA. All right, so let's see. So let's run that now. Can you see that? So if I type view data, so can you see how it looks now? This is like how you see it in Excel, isn't it? All right, good. Now, if I want to check, is there missing data? Is there missing data? Right? So what do? I'll just say is NA. NA means what?
Not available.
Not
Missing it.
available. So I'll put the data there. So is NA data. Can you see that? So I run it. So what is it telling you? True means what?
Where there's
There is.
That is true means NA. False means what?
not any.
No, not NA, exactly. Not NA. Okay, not NA. Good. So that's how, if I say, okay, it's NA, so it's telling me now I can see there's NA, isn't it? Or if there's another one called NE. So if I say is NA, then put your data. True. Is there any empty data here? Can you see that? Even if it's 1, you say true. So this is just to check whether there's what? Missing what? Data. Okay. So once you have seen, oh, there's missing data. There's missing data. Okay. Now you want to now check, where is this my missing data? Okay. Where is my missing data? So most time you're looking at it like in terms of a position. Okay. Where is my missing data? So remember, if I say is NA, right, I'll put this thing there. But if I want to select a specific column, let's say, for example, I want to select Lagos. I want to select only Lagos and check. So how do I select only Lagos? It will be data, $ Lagos. Can you see that? Now I have selected only Lagos. So it has now evaluated it. Can you see that? It has now evaluated it. But if I now say where, so if I say, you say which index is it? It will tell you 1 and 5. Can you see that? So let's go and look at it now. 1 and 5. So let's see it. So 1 and what? 5. Can you see that? So it's telling me where is it? It's in 1 and what? 5.
About 4.
I looked at only Lagos.
Okay, only Lagos. Oh, okay.
Only Lagos.
Mm.
If I want Abuja now, so Abuja will be what now?
Is not any data. Abuja.
What will it return for me?
4 and 5.
4 and 5.
4 and 5, exactly.
Yes.
So you give me 4 and 5. So if I run for Abuja, location, which position is my BC data? So that's why we're using which. Is that okay? Now, assuming I want to check, is there any row? Let's look at this data. Do we have any place where we have complete data? Complete, no BC data at all, complete. Where do we have complete data?
Or row 2,
Row 2, row 3,
and row 6.
and row 6, isn't it? So that's where we have what? Complete data. Okay. So if I want to check now, so there's this is called complete cases. Can you see complete cases? Complete case of what? Data. So let's check. So can you see what it's doing? It's evaluating it. So we are expected to have seen true, all true, is it not? So if it was complete, okay, no BC data. Now let us see. If I say which is complete now, can you see what it has done for you? Which is complete? It has identified it as 236. So let's look at it. 236. Okay. So if I want to say which one is not complete, so what we have done here is that we have said show me the complete one, isn't it?
What about complete for the columns?
For what?
Columns, like, because you looked at rows. So if you want to see the columns that are complete.
Now, you know, because it's a record, right? Each of them indirectly still going through the columns. It is only where we want to go and check for the specific columns. But most times, when you are looking at your data, you are treating it like, because they are records. This is a complete information. This is not a complete information. Do you get? So for example, for a particular person now, if I omit one variable, but I can look at it completely this way. But if this is missing at all, then there's nothing that you can see. So that's why most times we are looking at it row by row.
Okay.
So that's it. Okay. Now, so let's look at this other one now. So the same way, if you want to see which ones are complete, isn't it? We use this complete. But if I say not complete, not, so this is what? Not. Can you see not? So if I say equal to, this is what? Not equal to. This is equal to, this is what? Not equal to. Okay. So that's this sign, the exclamation sign means not. So this one means what? So if I read this one, what does this one mean? What does this one mean?
Not complete.
Not complete. So let's check now. Not complete. Which one is not complete?
1.
Okay.
4 and 5.
And 5. Okay, let's check now. Now, not complete. Watch. 1 what? You say 1, 4, and 5. So let's check it now. 1, 4, and what? 5. Can you see that now? What has it done? It has identified what? Your missing what? Data. Can you see it now? It has identified your missing what? Data. Another way you can even do it, you see the way we have done this, right? We can even say where this, because by default it's usually true. where is complete is usually true. So where is it equals to false? So false means what? Not complete. Can you see that? You know, this one means show me where it's complete. Show me where it's complete. So by default, it is true. But here, by default, we will not change it to what? False. So where it is false, because when it's evaluating false, true, true, true. So where it is false, that means show me everything where it is false and what bring it out. Is that clear? Are we clear with this?
Yes, sir.
So that is why, because if I'm using a large data set, you may not really appreciate it because it may just be looking like miracle. But with smaller data, you actually can see it. Okay. So if I come to that M-sleep now, right, and I say, so let's do, so if I say, so let's look at the M view. Where is it? Okay, M-sleep. M-sleep now. So let me say view. Is there missing data here?
Yes, they have.
Yes, missing data, isn't it? So if I want to now identify where the missing data is, what do I now do? I want to know where the missing data. Where is the missing data? So what do I do? Yes.
Which complete. Okay. Cases.
Okay.
M.
Which one do you prefer? You prefer to put the notes here?
Yes.
All right. So can you see now? So if I had drawn this one at first, it would have not made sense to you. Isn't it? So with the smaller one that you can now see, so you can now interpret this, isn't it? So you can now know where there was BC. Because later I will now show you how you remove rows and columns. But you see, when you are removing rows, if you don't know where to remove, do you get? Otherwise, you can now just copy this one and put it there. Okay. All right. So I hope we are clear with this.
Sir.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I answered yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now you know that you can. So let's look at this again. So what we need to do is to check whether there was BC data, isn't it? Now, once you have seen the BC data, now what can we do with it? What can we do with the BC data?
You fill it or drop.
So it now depends on what you want to do. Because sometimes when they are missing data, the challenge you will have is that, you see, if it was in Excel, if it's Excel or even I think even Python, if you want to add up where you have missing data, it will allow you. It will allow you add up. So let's say, for example, where was that our data set? So for example, if I want to add up here now, how do I add it up? So if I was to add up here, what will it be? This will be what? 1, 2, 3. So this is what? 6, is it not? So this will be 11. Isn't it? This should be what? 11. But you see, with R, once you see missing data there, once you see missing data, it may not allow you to what? Add up. It may not allow you to what? Add up. So because if you add up your data, because it has missing data, it will tell you, please, I cannot add up. So, you know, for example, you have sum. So let's say sum of what now? Sum of what? This is for Lagos, isn't it? So let me add Lagos. So it will be data Lagos. So sum of Lagos, NA. Why is it showing you NA?
Yes, missing data.
There's missing data, isn't it? So because there's missing data, I now have to tell you, please, when you see NA, remove it. Can you see that? So that means exclude missing data. Should it be removed? Yes, remove it. Now it has added it up for you. So that's why with R, missing data is very important. Okay, so we must understand how to deal with what the missing what data, because there are a whole lot of way you can do it, but just to understand how it works. Okay, how it works. MSleep. Okay, let me see another data set. Let me see another data set that can. Okay, let's say let me see Star Wars. View Star Wars. Let's see. Do we have anything here? Do you have missing data here? Now you see with this one, when you look through,
No.
because
Okay,
the data is, you can see, is it not? So
Yes.
if the data is large like this, isn't it? That means I cannot be going through it that way now. Imagine I had 1 billion rules. So what I'll just say is NA, is it not? Star Wars. Is there any missing data there? Can you see that? It will evaluate everything, but because it's too big, I want to just check. Okay, I'll just say any. Is there any missing data anywhere here? It says true. Can you see that? It says true. Okay, how do I now know? For example, if I want to check the columns now, because you see I have plenty columns. So if I want to check columns, how do I check columns? I can say column names, isn't it? I type Star Wars. So these are all the column names, right? Alternatively, if I type glimpse Star Wars, it will give it to me this way. Can you see that? So these are the columns. So you can see the rows, you can see the columns. Okay. If I want to count how many rows I have, how do I count how many rows?
N rows.
N rows. You know, so I say N rows. So I say Star Wars. So can you see that? If I want to check columns, N column, Star Wars. Can you see that? The same way I can even check the structure of Star Wars. Can you see that? It will still give you the same data type, but that's why Glimpse, it presents in a very clean manner. Can you see that? It's still doing the same thing, but the way it structures it, it's not that. That's why most times prefer we use that Glimpse. Okay, good. So now we have seen the columns. Now I want to now check, right? Please, how many BC data do I have in, for example? So if I check, for example, in mass, how many BC data do I have there? So can you see that? Will you gonna be counting it one by one? Right? So you see, when it's huge that way, you cannot just simply what count it. So there's something called column sum. Okay. So remember, what I can do is that I can do it this way. If I say is Eddie, right? Is Eddie Star Wars. You know what it's doing for you? It will evaluate it true, false, true, false. When it's true, 1. When it's false, 0. So it will add up all the true for me. Can you see that? So on this column, add up all the true, right? So if you add up all the true, now it's like counting it 1, 2, 3, 4 to whatever. So here I will now say column sum of everything here of the results. Can you see that now? So what can you see now? No missing data 6, 28, 5, 0. Can you see that? And remember, what was the total number of rows here? What is total number of rows?
68.
The number of rows. I think we counted the number of rows.
think it was 68 or 7.
87, isn't it? So from 87, 6 is missing. From 87, can you see 28 is missing from here? So that's how you just know which is which. If in that whole row you just see 87, you know that it's completely what? Empty. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the same way, I can even ask which of them. So let's see which. So let's say which of the column. And that way again of doing it, you can say which of the column is greater than 0. You know what greater than 0 means? So which column sum? Okay. So 1, 2. Okay. Let's see which one is missing. How many brackets do I have here? 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me run it again. Let me run it again. So another way again to do is to say which one is greater than 0. Why is it not running here? Okay, so 1, 2, so let me close. All right, good. Now, if I now put which, open brackets, the result I now have greater than 0. So which is greater than 0 here? Beautiful. So can you see that? So in the same way, but the only difference now is that it is only giving me what? All those ones that are 0, if you exclude them, it will only give me the ones that are missing. Can you see the difference? This one will bring for everything. This one I say no missing data, 6 missing data, 28, 5, no missing data, no missing data. But here I say, oh, height is missing, is it not? Mass is missing. So it will just identify those ones that are missing for you.
But why the numbers different? I'm trying to find out. Oh, 6.
Exactly. Like for height, you have 6 for missing, and here you have
Yes, here, right? Okay, let's look at it. So here, this is height. So let me see height. That's Star Wars. Okay, height. So let's say height here. So if I rearrange heights, let me see. So how many is BC here? 1. This is what? 1, 2,
6.
3, 4, 5, 6. Is
6.
that not 6?
Yes.
But remember again, if I look at it in terms of the column index, where is it located?
Second.
So column 1, 2.
2. Second column 2.
You see that?
Hmm.
Why look at the other one? Let's look at the other one. Okay, mass. Mass. You say 28, is it not? What column is it?
The third column. 3.
Column 3.
Okay.
Hair. 4.
Okay.
Year of birth 7. So it's identifying the
So it's
column.
the position. Which
Position,
column?
exactly.
Okay.
Which position? Do you understand it now? Which position?
So the first one is telling you the number. The second one is which
Yes,
data.
the position, the columns alone, only the columns. Show me only columns with BC data. Okay. Show me only columns with BC data. Now, let's look at another way of doing it again. You see, for example, when you are checking your, because sometimes you want to check where this BC data is, right? Now, it is also important to understand why it is BC. Like I explained that yesterday, that sometimes when you see data, it can be what? Either systematic, the BC data can be systematic or random. Okay, so you need to check, why is it BC? Is it because of omission? Or is it that it could not be captured? Okay. So once if you understand where it is, then you have to now go and look for what where the data is and fill it. But if not, then you can what omit it if it's not very important. You can take it out. Now let's say, for example, now we want to select. Okay, let's see our columns. What are our column names? Star Wars. Okay, so let's say I want to select what now? Let's say I want to select, let's say name, let's select what gender, let's say hair color and height. Okay. Now I want to pick it in that order, not the way it is written. So I want to select it whichever order I want. So what do? I will first of all call the name Star Wars, right? Select what? The name, the gender, isn't it? Hair color, then the height, isn't it? And then what? So I want to filter now. Now what I want to do is that I want to check where it's not complete. Where is not what? Complete. So I'll say filter. Remember complete cases, isn't it? Now I want everything. So that dot means give me the data. But since I want not complete, okay, let's run this first one and check what it will show me. Okay, if you can't understand it like this, then let me use view. So view, let's view the data and see. Can you see what it's showing me now? This one is showing me only what the complete. Can you see that? Only what the complete. Only complete. Only complete. That means if I say not complete, if I want to see not complete, what do I do? Not complete.
Question, that's exclamation.
Sorry. So it will now show me where it's not complete. Can you see it now? Can you see now? You can identify where it's not complete. Is that clear? So that's not complete. Are we okay with that? So that's we will now check where is this data missing. Now we can see where it is missing. You know, before we are identifying the columns, right? But now because we have selected the specific columns, now let us see where it's not what complete. Okay. So let's say, for example, now you have seen, let's say, which one is not complete now? Okay, let's say hair color. Okay, let's say, for example, either hair color or height. So you can see some data they are missing, isn't it? Hair color, height. You can see that they are missing. Okay, so let's come back. Now, if I want to check, if I want to now drop a particular one, let's say select, so Star Wars. Select. Now, if I want to select everything, let's say select everything. Let me see. Sorry, let me see. View. So let's see this one. This one will still select everything, isn't it? Now let me now see. If I now say select everything, then filter where it's not complete. So let's see whether it works for this. Now you see, because it's using everything, it will not work that way. Can you see that it will not work that way? So that means you have to only select the specific one, columns, because it's using all the entire data. So that's why if I had used that full stop there, it will not work for it. Okay, so that's why when you are picking your data, select the columns that you are working with, because that is the essence of why you need to explore your data, because not every column that you need. Because if it's all the columns that you now need, then we'll now use this approach. We now have to specify the column names. Okay, we can now specify.
Was the error, Doctor, was the error in the everything or the view? Because I'm seeing error in view. So I don't know. Just trying to
Oh, you know why? So look at what is happening there. You see, this is everything. This means the entire data. This full stop also means entire data. That full stop also means like star. No star means evidence square. Star means everything. Here means dot. Means like say, give me everything in that data set. So that's what to do. So in that case, you now have to now select the column names and put them there. Okay. But what I just wanted to show you that, for example, if I decide to say, okay, let me now drop. So if I select everything now, right? So this one will select everything, isn't it? This will select the entire data. Okay, this will select the entire data. Will not find function Star Wars. What's missing there? Let's check. All right, that's the entire data, isn't it? So this one has wrong. So what I want to now do now, I want to drop any. Drop any means what? Drop the missing data, let's say for height.
Mm.
Can you see that? Maybe if I've noticed that height is the one that has most of the missing data. So I want to drop it there. So let's run now, check. So if I check height now, where's my height? So if I check height now, you notice that there will be no missing data for height.
So does that mean it has taken away some rows?
Yeah, exactly. That's the implication. It has taken away some rules. So that's why you see, before you clean the data, you must try to understand what you are trying to do. Okay. In fact, that data we had run, let's say data, view data. So can you see this data now? So let's say in this case now, you notice now there is NA here, there's NA here. So I want to drop only the one in Lagos. Can you see that? Only in Lagos, because with Lagos now, this one would have gone. This guy would have gone. Then I'll have the remaining. Okay. So you need to just understand how you want to clean it. So let's say data, select everything. Then say drop any Lagos, right? Then view. Let's see. Can you see what it has done?
Yes.
It went through it to drop it.
That's risky. Sha.
Yes. So that's why I say you must understand the data to know what you are going to clean. In fact, you know another way of doing it. Let's say the lazy way out. You know the lazy way out would have been draw anything I hear missing data, drop it. Can you see that?
You won't put Lagos.
Yeah, you will not put Lagos. So I'll just say, in fact, I'm not going to use it will now be any dot omit everything. So anywhere I see missing data, I don't want to know. Take it out. Can you see that?
Could you have also used the drop any, then everything?
Now, if I use drop any, right? Now, if I use drop any, isn't it? Then I run it this way. Can you see what it has done? You see that? Because there are different, now I'm showing there are different methods of doing the same thing. Okay. I would have used that any, but any would have just done almost the same thing. But there's another one called omit. But this any, this drop any, that one you can specify your column. But that omit is anywhere I see anything, any, take it out.
It doesn't give you the option to select. Okay.
Let me see, omit any. Let me see if I had said omit. Let's try and see. Omit NA dot omit. So if I had put Lagos there, let me see. If I had put Lagos. Because just like in Excel, you have the same. Did it work? It still removed everything.
It removed everything.
Everything. So that's the difference. They look similar, but this one means anywhere I see any, omit it. I don't care where you are. Okay, but drop any, you cannot specify where. So that's just the difference. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So we have seen how to check where it's not complete, is it not? Remove them for me. So you drop it. Okay. Now another thing again we can also look at. Let's say, for example, we use this is now let's select our column name. So let's say select. So let's say name. Let's say gender. Which other one do we use? Name, gender. Okay, hair color, and let's say height. Isn't it? All right. Now I want to filter, right, where I don't have any missing data. So I want only the complete data. So you see, when we did this first one here, it had dropped all those, it dropped everything missing, isn't it? So it will only give you the complete data. Okay. So another way again I can do it is to also say filter. So filter what now? Only the complete. Can you see that? So that full stop means give me what the entire what data, but the complete one. Is it where there's no what PC what data there? Okay. So if I run that, so it will only give me what the complete data. Can you see that there's nothing missing? There's nothing missing. Can you see that there's nothing what missing there? So this is another way again I can also what extract my data without the missing values. So the data will not be complete. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Now let's say, for example, you see when we run this, right? And look at, for example, can you see like hair color? Hair color is known. Hair color is known. So let's see what we have there. So no does not mean empty data. No, does it mean empty data?
No, I don't think so.
Does unknown does it mean empty data?
No.
Or missing data?
No.
No.
So that is why I said that I showed you the different types. You can have null, you can have any, is it not? You can have NaN, you can have none, you can have unknown. It's not left for you to understand how you want to clean it. Okay.
Sorry, Dr. Francis. So we agree that none does not mean empty data. Because it can be that, yes, none.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, because it can mean different.
Yes, that's why I said that.
Okay.
So it means you can have null. Null means what?
Empty.
Empty. NA means what?
Empty too.
Empty. NaN means what?
It's not a number.
Not a number. None.
It could be valid. It might not be empty.
None means what? So you need to understand how you are cleaning it. Okay, how you are what? Cleaning it. So let's come back to that, our data set.
Don't we fill in R?
Yeah?
Is it only drop? Is it only drop? Can't we fill?
We're coming now.
Okay. Just one minute.
Step by step. Okay. Let's say, for example, so height. Okay, color. Okay, so can you see color? For example, can you see hair color now? Has any, isn't it? Can you see hair color has any?
Yes, sir.
No color. So instead of this NA now, what do I want to do? I want to say anywhere I see NA, I'll put none. Okay. Anywhere I see NA, I'll just put what? None. Okay. So let's see how we can do that. So you see, it means that. So let's do that. So Star Wars. So select what? So select the name, gender, hair color, and height, isn't it? The filter, what am I filtering now? Where is not complete? Is it not complete? Okay, I'll put everything there. Then now, if I want to replace it now, there's something called mutate. When I say mutate, what does mutate mean? It says mutating.
Multiply or transform into something.
To transform it, exactly. So I want to transform that. So where what? Hair color. Where hair color is what?
Any.
You know, for example, in Python or in Excel, we would have first of all put whatever I want to do last. You know, so when we say, for example, where 1 is equals to 2, here we'll say where 2 is equals to 1. So it's like going behind it, like reversing it. So here we'll say replace NA. So anywhere I see what? Can I see hair color? Anywhere I see hair color, what should I do? Replace that missing data with what?
None.
With none, exactly. So where that hair color is going to be what? None. None. So let's see. So let me pipe it again and view. So let's check. So can you see that? No. Then now we can now continue. Can you see it now? You can now continue. So that's how you can fill it. So you can even fill it with, let's say, white. You can even fill it with white. Can you see that? You can fill it with what? White. Now remember, because it has not been assigned to any data, isn't it? So that's why if I want to assign it to a new variable, I can say Star Wars new. So it means I can assign it to this data now. This variable now. Okay, so if I want to view that data now, I'll say what? View what? Star Wars new. So that's a new variable now. So I can now.
Dr. Francis, that means you can also mutate for the whole data.
Yes, but you see, yeah, you can actually do that. But again, you also have to be very careful. Oh. You also have to be very careful. Okay. So that's why it's better you just pick each column, because sometimes it's easy to just do it generally, isn't it? To fill it. But it's good you check it one by one so that you don't go and be in a hurry. Because remember, it's garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. Okay. Garbage in, garbage out. There's something I wanted to explain. Now, okay, there's another way again. Let me explain something. You see, if you remember in your, okay, let's use this. Maybe I can use another data set. Let me see. That one will make more. I'm looking for the one that has smaller data sets so that we can see. Okay, let's say iris. Aha, iris, beautiful. So look at this, view. Iris. Now look at this data. Can you see this data here? Can you see this? Now you know normally, when you want to build your machine learning model, you know you cannot work with this data like this. You know you cannot work with this data like this. You will now have to replace these values. You now have to make them what? Quantitative by assigning that 1, 2, 3. I hope you remember.
Yeah.
Good. So it means that here, so let's look at it again. You know, if I'm looking at my data set, right? If I'm looking at my data set, so let's say, for example, let me see my, so if I say glimpse, iris. So look at the data set. So this is a factor, isn't it? Is a factor. Okay. Now, if I want to check how many rows do I have? N row, right? Iris. 150, isn't it? If I check N column, iris. 5. Okay, so I have 5 columns, 150 rows, isn't it? Now we can also check the length. So if I say length of iris, can you see the length? Length is the same thing as the column. Can you see that? The length is the same thing as what? The column. Now, if I say class of iris, so it's telling me that this is what? A data frame. So a data frame means what? It's in form of what? A table. Because if it's in a table, not everything, there are some things that will work, some things may not work. Okay? Some things will work, some things may not work. Let's say, for example, if I have, let's say, let's create this. Let's say X. Let's assign X. Let's say 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Right? So what is the class of X? What is the class of X? Is an integer, isn't it? Because if I write X now, what will be next? What will be next?
1 to 10.
1 to 10, isn't it? 1 to 10. Now, just imagine now. Where is that our iris data? Look at this. This one is 1 to 150, isn't it? 1 to 150. So sometimes we want to look through to check. Anywhere I see, for example, Setosa, give it what? 1. Anytime I see the second one, versicolor, give it 2. And Virginica, give it what? 3. Can you see that? So sometimes you can what? Try to do a loop. So for example, if I want to multiply through by 2, so it means this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So imagine it was up to 1,000. Is it not up to 1,000? Now multiply through by 1,000. How we multiply? Can you multiply this through by 1,000? Multiply through by 2. What will you have? If you have to multiply through by 2, what will you have?
4.
All true. That means from 1 to
2,000.
Can you see that? So which year will you finish it? Or imagine you had up to 10,000. Can you see that? So as the data starts getting larger, you see you can no longer do these things manually, isn't it? So you need to look for a way to go through the data. So that's what is referred to as what? A loop. Okay, so let's go to the one of 10 first. So let's understand that one first. So that means if I want to go through it, it means it's going to be what? 1 times 2, 2 times 2, 3 times 2, 4 times 2. Can you see that? So that's what they call a loop. Okay, so you call it for I in Python. This is not, you say for I in what? X, isn't it? What do you now do? Multiply X by 2. Does this make any sense?
Yeah, for every value in X, multiply by 2.
Yes, for every value in X. So this I is this 1. When I see 1, what do I do? Multiply by 2. What should I have here?
2.
2. I'll go to the next one when I'm done. Oh, this is 2. What will I do with it?
Times 2.
What will I have?
4.
Exactly. So this is how you write it in Python, isn't it? Say for I in what? X. Multiply what? X by 2. Okay. Now you see with R, so this is how you have written it in Python, isn't it? Is that how we normally write in Python?
Yes, sir, that's how right.
That's how I write in Python. But you see for R, it's a little bit different. So you have said for I in 1 to, what's the length? What does length tell you?
10.
So length, isn't it? What do I want to do? Right? I want to what? Let me assign it to Y now. So let's assign it to Y. So let's do X multiplied by what? 2.
2.
Let's run and check. So if I say Y now, let me see Y. What has it done? Can you see what it has done? So it has gone through it. So now multiply. So you see where the difference is between Python and R, isn't it? So for I in this, normally it's supposed to work, but okay. Expected symbol for.
But to make things easy, we would have just made it similar thing.
But there are 2 different languages now. So do you understand this now? So for the open brackets, put the expression there, isn't it? The expression, then the condition now will now put it in the square curly brackets. Can you see that? So the same way in the Python you have had if. Can you see that? If. So if what now? If they put the condition there, right? What do you now do? You now put the expression. So this is how normally we write it in R. But with Python, it would have just been if maybe X is greater than 2, is it not? Print, is it not? Print hello world. Print hello world. Isn't it? Then else print whatever. I think this is how you write it in Python.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now let's look at how you write it in R. because R is a little bit different. So those are now the differences I'm not trying to show you how you do it in one. So that's why I say sometimes Python is a little bit more user-friendly. So those who are learning programming for the first time, this will not be a very good experience to learn looping. Okay, but this is how you do it. So it just simply means to loop this, go through my data one after the other, then apply this expression. Even if I remove this one, even if I don't assign it here, that should still work. It should still work there. So if I run X, let me see. X. Oh, okay, so that means it needs me to assign it there. Okay, but let me just show you the other one. So for your if statements, right? So you can have if. Now, if it doesn't work, if it's not there, then I'll now say else. I'll now put my expression again. Right? Else, I'll now put the curly brackets. If you have elif, you can now say else if. Once you are done with it, now say else, open the bracket again. So that's how the syntax for your if statement works. Okay? So that's how the syntax for if statement works. So it's just like saying, especially when you have for more than 3. So you have your expression 1. So this is your first expression. After you are done with that, you can have another expression there. You can have another expression. So this is your expression 2. Else, just like that. If you have a third expression, else, then you now end it there. So if I say, for example, x is greater than, let's say x is greater than 10, right? X is greater than, do I have any variable called x? Okay, let me first assign this to 10. Okay. So is x greater than 10? What will it tell me? Is x greater than 10? Is x greater than 10?
False, no. No.
Is x equals to 10?
Yes.
Is x equals to 10? True, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's true. From the expression above. It's true.
It's greater than above, isn't it? Good. So it will go through it. If it meets that statement, so if it's true, what should I do? Can you see that? So if I say if x is greater than 10, isn't it? What should I do? So I've given it the condition. So if the condition, put it in brackets. Then the expression, put what the action, what should I do? Put it in curly brackets. So what should I do? Then you can say print what? Let's say x is a positive number. Can you see that? So is this condition, is it true? Is this condition true? Let's say greater than or equal to.
Yes, it is true.
Yes, greater than or equal to.
It is true.
It is true.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me. All right. If. So let's see. So if it's greater than, you know, print. Okay, let me see it that way. Let's assign, let me assign, let me see, let's assign this as 5. Let's say 5 here. Let me see 5. Let me run this and check. Why is it not running for me? Okay, let me take to a new sheet and check. Let me copy this out. Okay, let me check it out. So if I run that, so if x is greater than 10, okay, print what is a positive number. So that one is not supposed to have, it's supposed to give me an output now. It's supposed to give me an output. Let's see. If x is greater than 10, I just only have one condition now. So print. It's also wrong for me now. It's supposed to give me an output here, but I don't know why. Try it in your own if it will give you any output. Because sometimes when you are running in R, like when you are running the output, it's not working. So what I will do, I'll just make sure I save my work, right? I will close it and bring it back. Then to start running. So check your own case, whether your own will work. Check if your own will work. Okay, let me see. Let me type 1 + 1. Let me confirm. Can you see that it's not running?
Yeah.
So mine is not running. So let me close my own. Let me close it. Let me say don't save. Let me bring it back and run. So sometimes when you are running your R, and you are running the syntax and it's not running, okay, you just close it and bring it back again.
So if you don't save, will you be able to still retrieve your what you've done?
Yeah. Everything has disappeared. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me try it again and see if it will work. So mine just shuts down.
If you can recover.
So let me see. So if I say x is equals to 10, right?
Not see your screen, sir.
Okay, you can see my screen.
Yes.
So look at now, if I run 1 + 1, now you see that it can run now. Can you see that? So let's try it again. So if I have x is equals to 10, right? So we are saying that what? If x is less than what? So if x is less than 0, right? If x is less than 0, what should I do? Print what? X is what? Okay, let's say if x is greater than, let's use greater than 0 first. If x is greater than 0, so let's say x is a what? Positive number, right? X is a positive number. Let's run and check. Can you see that? It has run now. But if this was now, let's say, -10. So let's run this. What will happen?
Dr. Francis, sorry, you gave the command is if x is greater than 0, print x is this. So if it's less than, what is it supposed to print?
So that's what we are going to now.
Okay.
So that's what we are trying to check now. So x is now less than, is now -10. So the condition now that if x is greater than 0, print x a positive number. But now is x greater than 0?
No.
So that means it's false. Can you see that? When it is now false, what will it do? Nothing. Can you see that?
Okay.
It will not do anything for me. So that is why I will now have to now give it another condition again. Else, what should I do? Else, what should I do?
Print.
Print x
Is a negative
It's a
number.
negative number.
It's a negative number. Let's try and see if it will work. What did he say? Sorry, let me take. Be careful with your indentation. So what is he saying? He said if x is this, print this, else print what? Let me see. Let's run that and check. So you say error expected else int.
Are you supposed to close that? No, you don't need to close it now. Separately.
That I want to check now. I hope I've closed the. I have closed the first one. So we say if what now? If x is greater than this, is it not? So print. Is it not?
Yes.
Print
Which else?
Else. Print.
I'm saying, why are we supposed to close it after the print before the else again?
Here, right? Okay, here.
To close before the else.
Okay, so here would have been this one would have closed it here. Then
Okay.
this one should have.
No, that one is okay.
No, I opened.
Let me see this one now. Aha.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. So you see, this one would have closed. Then this will now continue. So else x is what? A negative what number? Can you see that now?
Yes.
Now, assuming now we had another condition again. So let's say, for example, either it is negative, 0, or positive. Can you see that now? So that one now be else if. So there's another condition again, second condition. So let's do it again. So if x is greater than 0, so this one will first open the first one, isn't it? What should I do? Print what? X is a positive number. Can you see that? Else if, can you see the next condition now? I'll put it in brackets because that's the condition. Else if what? X is equals to 0, right? I'll open the bracket again, my expression. What should I do? Print what? Print what?
X is
X
0.
is 0. X is what?
0.
0. Isn't it? Now, what again? Else.
If
Else what?
or else print
Else print what?
x is a negative number.
X is a negative number. Negative number. So now we have 3 conditions. So as your conditions keep increasing, you'll be using elif, else if, else if. In Python, they'll call it elif. So let's run. So this one, based on this, what should I have? As x is 10, what will I have?
X is a negative number.
X is a negative number. So that means if I change this one to 0, if I run this as 0, what would the result give me?
X is 0.
X is what?
0.
X is 0. Is that clear? So that is how you do your what? If condition in R. Because why is this important? Especially when we are trying to do some cleaning like looping, right? We want to loop through the data. So most time we may want to use that. That's when we would like to use that condition.
Sorry, Dr. Francis. That else if x is equals to, so you have to put equals to twice.
Yes, No, this equals, that's equality. You know, in R, x equals to 0. This is an assignment.
Okay.
Is it not? But x equals to 0 is what? Equality.
Okay.
One is assignment. So instead of me assigning this way, that's why in R, I can assign like this. These two are the same things. They are all assignments.
Okay.
But this is to check. Are they the same? So it's just like saying, is 10 equals to 10? This is how we write it mathematically, but in programming, it's an assignment. But I cannot assign a number to a number because you cannot use a number as a variable. Isn't it? So I can only assign it to
Yes.
so that way if I run it this way, it will not allow you. So that way, can you see what's invalid? Left hand side to assignments. So if I now decide to say, okay, let me assign it this way. Can you see that it still doesn't understand?
Do not
But
go,
if I use a letter now, then that one works.
Yes.
Or if I want to assign to the right, I want to assign to the right. Sorry, assign to. You can assign to the right. Let me see. You can assign to the right. Okay. Now, but look at this. So what we are saying is 10 equal to 10. Can you see that? So are they the same? It's saying true. Is 10 the same thing as 8? False. So that is comparison. Why that first one is assignments. Okay, so let's go back to that our iris data set. Iris. Okay. Let's see, view iris. So that's the data set we have here, isn't it? That's the data set we have here. Now let's look at it. So what we are trying to do now is that, for example, where we have this setosa, right? So in case I have to look through, so go through my data and look for it. Okay, so that's the assignment you can do there. So let's see how we can do that with this thing. Now, if you remember that for your, so if I have, for example, n rows means what? N row means what? What does
Number
it mean?
of rows.
Number of rows. So go through the number of rows for me, isn't it? So if I say 1 to, what does this mean? What does this one mean? 1 to n rows. What does it mean? Go from the first index to the last row. Okay, to the last row. So what I can do, I can say for I in 1 to n row, is not of what? Iris. I'm sure this one is clear. Is this clear? This statement now, is it clear?
Yes,
you know, we are looking now. Go from the first one to the last. Isn't it? So if you remember iris, if I bring my iris data sets, if I say 1 to 10, comma, what does this one mean? 1 to 10, comma, what does this mean?
10 rows and all the columns.
And all the columns, exactly. 1 to 10 rows, then all the columns. So this one, we are going to look from the first one to the last row. Okay. So what do I want to do now? What do I want to do now? If what? Iris, which column is it? Iris what? Species, is it not? You know how to read a column now, isn't it? Individual column. So I'm going to go through each of them. That's the I. Okay. So if iris species, so each of them you go one by one. So this is the I here. We are going row by row. So I'll check it. I'll check them one by one. Okay. So if it is the same thing as seto, is that Setosa, right? What should I do? What should you do?
Assign one.
Assign one, is it not?
Yes.
So I want to create a new variable. I want to create a new variable called iris species. Let's say status, so that we'll have a new column. I want to create a new column with it. Okay, so that means it's going to add a new column to it and assign it as one, so I can see what is doing there. Okay, so I'm going to assign it as what? One. Can we see that? So anywhere I see Setosa, assign it as what? One. What else? Else, if what? If what? Iris what? Species. If iris species, is it not? Is what?
Something called, what's the other one?
Is that virgin? Let me see.
Very color.
When I say unique what now? Iris species. Yes. Iris species. Aha. So can you see the spelling now? Very color. But once you miss the spelling, it just give you error straight. Okay, put it in bracket quotation mark. So assign what? That. What again?
Yeah, assign two, Abby.
Yes, we assign what?
Two. What's this one?
So once it's that, so what do we do?
Else, there's another one.
So in that case, what do we do now? We are going to assign
Irish species status.
species status, is it not?
Yes.
Status.
I
assign what?
Two.
Isn't it? Then what again?
Else if.
Else.
Else.
Is there if? I think it's one
No,
more.
no. There's no if else.
There's no condition again now. So that's the last one. So
Yeah.
else. Any other thing, give it what? 3.
3. Yes.
Yeah.
So else, iris, species, status, assign what?
3.
Please check that I don't miss any bracket too. So open 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's pray that this will work too. Okay, so know if it works now. So if I type view iris, I should see what? Aha.
It
Did it work?
Yes.
It worked. So let's check now. So Setosa 1. Very color 2. Okay, good. It worked.
So that means you created another column.
Yes, I created another column. Yes, I created another column. So you see how you can use a loop now to go through. So if your data is so large, you just put the condition, and the good thing about programming, you just do it once. You don't ever do any other thing again. If you have run it like this, don't ever bother yourself again. Just copy the syntax. Just know where to go and change. You get?
Sorry, sir, is it here that you created the new column?
You said?
Is it inside this code that you created the new column?
Yes, now look at it here now.
Okay, yeah, that's where you
I assigned it here. Yes, assigned it to that's 2. Assigned it to this. You see that why if you understand the syntax itself, right? Just understand how to read each of them. So when you see it now, you can, even if you don't write everything, you cannot write everything for your head. Me, I don't write everything for my head. But once I write them, right, I will just try to understand, okay, this first one, this is what it's doing. This second one, this is what it's doing. Then by the time I bring them together, they one or two things. Then over time, you don't understand how to read it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So that's why it's important you understand how to work with your data, especially after you explore your data, right? You don't check for missing data, how to clean some part of the data, isn't it? So there's a whole lot that has to do with what? Manipulation. So for example, like this adding of columns, right? Like adding of columns. Let's say, for example, you have, I don't know, should we create another column now?
Let's create another one.
Okay, let's create something. Okay. So what can we create now? So which one should we create now?
I read special what now?
So if we have to create now, let's see which one can we create now.
Age. How old the species is? No. Age will be. Oh, we have the gender.
Life.
We have gender.
The
lifespan or something like that. No, it's not.
Okay. So let's say for example. Okay, what we can do, let me use this one here. Let's use, so let's say Iris, right? Iris. Okay, this one has added the other one. Okay, let me say Iris 3. Okay, look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. So view Iris. Now you see, because this one we have already created a column here, isn't it? We have created what? The column there. Now, if you want to remove the column, now how will you remove the column? If I want to remove column now, let's say I want to remove this species status now, how will I remove it?
Can you use drop?
Drop. So drop will not work. So look at how it's done. So if I want to remove a column, so let's look at it now. So let's say this Iris, right? So Iris. So let me select. Now I want to drop. Which column do I want to drop now?
Species status.
Species what?
Status.
Species status. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do, you know how you normally combine. So this is species status, isn't it? So now what I can do, I'll put a minus here. You know your combine, when you want to combine, you put C, then combine all the columns that you want. So minus means remove. So let me view it for you so that let me see view so you can see what's happening.
Error.
Okay, I did not call. You know why is this error there? Why is this error there? Could not find function. This. Why is that error there?
You've not called the player function.
Thank you. I did not call. You see the essence of why you must call the libraries. You know, when I closed it, I didn't call it again. So deep layer. If let's say for example I run deep layer now, let's try it and see. Can you see that now? Can you see that column has removed?
Yes, sir.
Good. So if you want to remove columns, you can use this thing there. Let's say, for example, I have another column. Let's say I want to remove. Okay, this was the original data. Let's say this is the original data, is it? Let me assign it down to Iris. So say Iris. I want to assign it back. So I can remove this view there. So I can just assign it there. So if I say view Iris.
But that minus is still there. Minus.
The minus.
I thought you want to add.
Add what?
I thought you were trying to add it back, the column.
No, I'm not adding the column back. I wanted to assign
Okay.
it
Okay.
back to. Okay, what? Okay, let me run the iris. Iris. It's like nothing is there. So me, I've closed my own. So that's why most time when you're working with your data, always try and assign it to a new variable so that you don't damage the old one, the original data. So that way, I just assign it to a new variable to start working with. Okay. So let me go back again. So let's say, so let me call the libraries first. So library.
Hey, share your screen, sir.
Okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry. So let's say library. Deep layer. This is library. Tidyverse. Okay, so let's run that. So let me look at Iris now. Iris. The data is back. The data is back. Now let's look at this. Let's look at this. Let's say I want to select some specific columns. If I want to select some specific columns, how do you select them? I want to select specific columns. So look at this now. View Iris. Now look at this. If I want to analyze the data now, I will need, let's say I told you the quantitative. So I only need these ones. This is not so from this to this. That's what I need. Okay, so what do? I want to select from here to here. What do? I want to select from this sepal length to petal width. So what do?
Complete.
Say code.
Complete.
Is that what?
Nice.
No, we'll assign it to a value. Are we going to assign it to a variable? We'll just
yes, we can assign to a variable now. Yes. Let's say assign to a variable data frame. Let's call it data frame.
Okay, we'll call the data. Name the data.
So Iris.
And then
And I can assign. Select from where? Okay, you want to select.
Okay, you want to do complete.
I want to pick it at once. I want to pick them at once.
Complete cases.
Okay, 1 is to.
Yes. So 1 to where now?
1 to 5. 4. 1 to 4.
1 to what?
4.
1 to 4. Beautiful. So I'll just say 1 to 4. That's all.
Okay.
So if I say view DF, that's it now. Can you see that? So you know normally, right? If I was to check, for example, I want to check my column names and the rest. I can check my column names.
But sir, sorry,
yes.
Sorry, sir. But the R looks at rows and columns. So you picked 1 to 4. I assume that you would have picked, if you would have picked the whole columns, because you could see that as rows.
Yes, you know, for example, if I had done it this way, if I put a comma there, that comma means what?
All the rows and
all the rows.
Columns.
So if I run it will give me the same thing.
So it doesn't matter if you don't put the comma.
Yes, it's only when you want to specify the number of rows you want to pick. So if I have done 1 to 4, comma, what will this give me now?
1 to 4 rows, all the columns.
Give me the first 4 rows and all columns.
Okay.
Can you see that? So by default, it's row first. So if it does not see the row, it means assume all rows. Then give me all columns.
So if you don't have two things, and when you just put it, it picks the columns.
So for example, if I just pick, for example, let me pick just one. Let's say Iris 1.
To pick just one column.
You just only pick one ahead, the first column. Do you understand that now?
So it's when you want to specify the rows, that's when you now put the comma.
Comma, exactly. So if I put the comma here, it's the same thing. If I run this, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. All rows, 4 columns. But if I want, for example, 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, then 4 columns. Can you see that 1 to 100 and 4 columns? So this is just like Python, the way you slice. The way you slice, isn't it? So since they are all qualitative data, so when I run the claims, right, you notice that they are all what? Let me run the glimpse. And you see all these double B's, they are what? Like decimal, isn't it? So it means they are what? Quantitative data, isn't it? So if they are quantitative data, if I want to check if the explicit data, how do I check if the explicit data? How do I check if the explicit data? How do you check if the explicit data?
Can say is.na, then
Is
the
NA, exactly. Can you see that? But if I say any, is there any missing data at all in this data set? Say false. So false means what? False means what?
no missing data.
No missing data is complete. Can you see that? So if I do a summary, can you see this is a summary statistics of it? So you can see the bid, you can see the median. Can you see that? If I want to do the correlation of DF, can you see that? So that's the same way. For example, I can also add it up. So let's say sum of DF. What does that mean? Sum of DF. What does that mean?
You should sum all the values.
Sum everything, all the values there. Sum every value. It's going to give you only one value. Isn't it? It's going to give you only one value there. Okay? It will give you only one word value. Clear? Now, but you see, sometimes it has added, how many columns do we have? How many columns do we have?
5.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? So it means that if I want to add each of them, so let's say sum of what now? I want to add only this sepal length. So what do I do? Sepal length. How do you add only sepal length? Only sepal length. How do we add it? Only sepal length. I need to call the column. How do you call the column? Sepal length.
You can say length. Length. You can write length.
Sepal length. You know the table is DF now, isn't it? So the table is DF.
DF.
Dollar sign and sepal length.
Sepal length.
Can you see that? So the same thing, sepal width. If I was to add sepal width, it will be sepal what? Is that width?
Width.
Yes. So that's sepal. So if I want to add each column separately, that's how I'm going to do it. The same way, I can also say, I can find the mean. The mean of what?
DF.
DF. Let's say sepal length. So this is the mean of sepal length.
Can you sum the is it row now? I don't even know how to call it.
By rows, right?
By rows, because this is column. So
by column.
Can you sum each row? Like to the right?
Yes, you can do all of them, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now you understand where we are going to now. Isn't it? Now you understand where we are going to. So let's say, for example, okay, let me just explain what I need so that you understand what's happening. So you see, when I do it this way, it is working on each column. Isn't it? So it's looking for the bin of each column. So it's going one column at a time. One column at a time, isn't it? One column at a time. But if I want to find for multiple columns, right? For multiple columns, which means I'm going through the different columns. So for example, if I'm adding up, there's something called column sums, isn't it? So it will add up the column sum. So what is the name of this? DF. So let's check. Can you see what it has done?
Yes.
It has taken all the columns at once. But it has not shown me on the table yet. But if by mistake there is a missing data, it will not add up. You remember, once there's any edit there, it will not add up. So that is why if there's any edit there, what you would have done, it would have been column sums. So just to quickly check it, column sums, you say DF, you don't have to what? Use the function. Let me see.
Function is this one.
So there's a function called sapply. So look at it. So look at what it's doing for you. So first of all, it's going to mark, because remember, it has to make sure they are all the same. So you have to go through and bring out what the list of the same length of each element. Because you know, when they are different, if they are not the same number, it will give you error. So that's another thing you must take note of. They must be of the same length. Okay. So that is why, and we must also make sure that what this your data has no missing data. So you must specify that it's numeric. Is what? Numeric. This is called is numeric. Is numeric. There's a function called is numeric. I hope I've called all my libraries. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. So most times this is how you'd have run it if there was any distance, if there was any what do they call it now? Missing data. So you'd have specified that it's what? Numeric. Or alternatively, if I don't do it this way, another thing I can also do, I can call DF. Okay. So I can say summarize. Can you see you have different summarize? So I can say summarize is numeric. So it gives you different options of how to what deal. So if you want the average, you can also do the average that way. Can you see that? Or let me see sum. If I use sum there, I think sum will work. So that's the sum, that's the average. Can you see the same thing that we have done there? We can use this method. But where you don't want to add, but you notice that it's not adding it row by row. You see, for example, this data now, I want to add a new column and call it total. I think something like that you are saying now. I want to now add the total. So I want to add this plus this plus this plus this and create a new column called total.
Yes.
I think that what you are saying now. So you know, first of all, if I want to create a new column, what do? I'll first call the table. Then what should be the name of the column? Total.
Total.
Is it not? So I'm going to assign it. Okay. So because I am going to go on the row basis, not row by row.
Column.
You know, the first one we have been doing has been column sum, but this one we are going row by row like this. Okay. So if you go through this one, add it up for me. Go through this one, add it. Go through this, add it. So we are going row by row, isn't it?
Yes.
So you have row sum. So there's something called row sum.
Okay.
Okay. Row sums. Row sums. row sums. Okay. Now I have to call the data df. So let me run this and check. So if I run view df, now what do you expect to see now?
New column, column. Yeah.
Called total. Can you see that?
New
column called total.
Total with the sum of the rows.
Yeah, the sum of the rows. Now, if you were to create a variable called, maybe you want to find the average. So you have found the total. Now you want to find the average. How will you find the average now? I want to create a new column called average.
Mean, maybe.
So let's create a new column called what? Average.
Average.
Assign it and be row what?
Mean.
Row bits, exactly. Row bits. Row bits. So row bits, so let me create.
Then you view.
So df, exactly. So if I want to view it immediately, I can just type it and say view. So I can run that now. Check. Okay, let me.
View df.
Let me just run it straight. So let's say df. So if I say view df, can you see that now? So this is the average. So that's the average. But you see again, you can even select. If you don't want everything, you can even select what you want. Now you see, for example, okay, this one is not so. It's not so glary. Now you see, sometimes when you are doing the average, and you know that maybe the data is large, you know most times you cannot rely on the average, isn't it? Yeah, especially the data is not normally distributed. So rather, what do you now use? Instead of the average, now what do you now use? Instead of average, what do you now use? Yes, what do you now use instead of the average? Especially where your data is not normally distributed.
Can we use median?
We can use the median. We can use the median. So that's why most time it is median that most time you use. Right? Now, if I also do the same thing now and I say df median, df median, isn't it? So I want to create a new variable called median. Then I'll say row, is it row median? But there's nothing like row median. Can you see that there's nothing like row what median? But you see, in your conventional tidyverse, it does not have median, row median. So that is why there's another package called matrix stats. So there's another package called matrix, I think matrix stats, I think something like this. So if it does not exist for you, so if I call it, I have to call that like library matrix stats. Can you see? Say it does not exist, right? So if it does not exist, what do? I will have to install it. So how do you install your packages? Install dot what packages. So what do you call the package now? Matrix what? Stats. Can you see that? So I will now install the package. So whenever you want to do certain things and it does not exist, you now have to install the package. So it will be downloaded. So once that's finished, so let's try and run it now. See. Okay, it hasn't seen it yet. There's no package called matrix stats. Did it finish installing? Okay. What you can also do again, let's see. Okay, let me come. Should I close? So I hope it has finished installing. So let me try. So matrix. So matrix stats. So it has worked now, isn't it? Now, can you see that it's still working from dplyr? It's now like what they call it, a dependency. So now I have now run it, is it not? So I've now run it now. So let's try the same syntax to try it. So watch now. So row median, so the row medians. Can you see median has come out now? You know, before it was not there. So now median has come out. So let's run it and check now. Okay, row medians. Okay, now because this is going to be in form of a matrix, you cannot just run it straight that way. Okay, so you have to put it as a matrix. So I'll say as matrix. So that's why you see that as that way they tell you that as data analyst, you must have some element of what? Mathematics. Element of mathematics. What's the problem here? Okay, can't see matrix. Matrix. Let's run and check. All right, so let's check view df. Aha, can you see the median now? So that's the median for it. Okay, so that's the median. Okay, so that's the median. So you see how we have created some columns. So where you can now what? Create your new variable. So if you were to find difference now, how will you find the difference? If I was to find difference between two variables now, let's say I want to find difference now. Let's say I want to find difference between what and what now? Let's say I want to find difference between sepal length and sepal width. Sepal length and sepal width. Okay, so what do I do? Sepal length and sepal width. So what do I do?
Do we have a function that we call difference? With that library called? I don't know if there's a function.
Let's check. Sepal, so length and sepal width. So let's create a variable called what? A column called what? Difference. Okay. So we say what? Row what? What do you call it? Row what? Difference. Yeah. Row difference of what now? df. You see, for example, I don't know the syntax, right? I don't know the syntax, but you see, it's already telling you what to do. Can you see that? It's already telling you what to do. So if I say row difference like this, now can you see that? It must be in a matrix vector. Now, this is a more technical way of doing it, but an easy way of doing it would have just been to do what? df sepal length minus what? df sepal width. Can you see that now? And that's it. So that's the difference. Can you see this one is easier?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if I was to divide now, what do I do? If I was to divide it now, what do I do? So let's say division. So let's say division. Let's call this one division. So this will be what? This divided by what?
This.
If I was to do multiplication now, what will I do? Let me see.
The same.
Exactly. So I'll just change here to what? Multiplication. So let's check now. So can you see what we have done now? Now look at this division. Can you see these numbers now? Can you see how they are? All of them are 2 decimal places, but this one is like 4 of 6.
4 of 5.
So what do we now do? What do we now do here?
Can we approximate?
Yeah, so in that case, that is division now, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
we can now what round to what? 2 decimal
place.
Let's run it and check. Yeah. So has it done that?
Yes.
Good. So can you see that now?
Yes.
So you see how we can create new columns from already existing word columns. So that means that if I was to remove these columns, now how do I remove these columns? If I want to remove these columns, how do I remove them now? Let's say I want to remove from total to the end. Or let's say I want to remove, or which column do you want to remove now?
We can call another variable and just select the column.
Yes, okay, you can call another variable, select the columns you want. But now I want to remove.
Can we use stack to remove the column?
Can you use what?
Stack.
Stack. What is stack? Stack is for what?
Some pivot.
Oh, okay, true.
Now you see when I want to remove the columns, right? So look at this now. So if I look at columns, column names, df. Can you see all the column names we have now? Now let's look at it now. I want to remove specific columns. Is it not? Specific columns. Now, let's say I want to remove sepal length, right? And maybe I want to remove sepal length. Then let me keep, okay, let me remove sepal length, remove petal length. Then which other one again? Then let me remove from total down. Can you see that? So I want to select specific columns. Specific what columns? So what I will do, so we can assign it to a new name, right? Let's say df, let me say df1. So df, okay. So select what now? I want to select the columns I want to remove. What columns do I want to remove now? I want to remove what? So sepal length. I want to remove petal length. What again? Then I want to remove from total. So look at it from total to the end. From total to where now? To multi.
Yeah.
Can you see that? From total to what? Multi. All right, let me view it. Okay, let me just run it that way. So this df1, isn't it? So view df1. So what should I expect to see now?
The septal length, petal length, and total length must have been removed to multi, total multi.
To what?
To total. From sepal length to total must have been removed.
So it's only 2 things that are blessed with.
Sepal width and the petal width.
Yes. So that's basically how you would clean your data. Can you see that? How you try to create data. Now there's even one I wanted to show you guys there. Because sometimes when data comes in there, it's as if the enemies are at work. Because you see a situation where Okay, let's create one more so that we can, well, let me show you. Let me create something if I will see an example. Sorry. Let me just create this example quickly. So let's say we have data, right? So let's say we have a data frame. So let's create the variable. So let's say x1. X1, let's say x1 is, so let's say we have Lagos. We have NA2, we have NA, we have 3. Let's say we have X2. So let's say you have Abuja. Let's say you have Abuja. You have Abuja. So let's say you have NA. Let's say you have what now? Okay, let's say you have B. Let's say you have, let's say you have C. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's put one more. Let's say you have D. You have D. Okay, one more. Let's say X3. I hope I closed the bracket. All right, X3. So let's say another one. Let's say we have PH. Let's say you have ND. You have, now if I have something like this, 2, 3, let's say 4. 4. All right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So are they complete now?
Yes, sir.
They are complete like this, right?
Yes.
So let's say view data. View data. Aha, look at this. Now, you know, normally when you import data, X1, X2, X3 was not supposed to be the heading, no. You know that?
Yes.
The heading is supposed to be Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
And we said that in every table, we must have one row of header. But it's bringing X1, X2, X3. But meanwhile, the actual table starts from what? Lagos. That's the first, that's the row of header. Lagos. Isn't it? So in that case, what do we now do? You know, like in the, if it was, what they call it now? If it was Power Query now, we can promote header.
Yes.
Isn't it? So how do you promote header here now? How do you now promote header? How do you now promote header? Yes, how do you promote header? So if I have data now, let's say data, what does this mean? When you see your data, like, what does this mean?
Means all rows and the first column.
If I have this, what does this mean?
The first row on all columns.
Yes. Do you understand that? So it means that what we are trying to do now is that I want a situation where I want to tell, please, oh, I want to replace this guy with my what? Column names. Isn't it? With my column names. So remember, if I call column names, what are my column names? What are my column names?
Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt.
Lagos, no, based on what you have, based on what
Okay,
I'm
X1, X2, X3.
X1, X2, X3. Now I want to assign it. That's my column name. I want to assign it to what now? My first row. What's my first row?
Lagos.
So Lagos. So that is what? Data 1, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you see that? So let's check. So view data. Can you see what has done?
Oh, okay.
I have now taken this guy and put it here. But because it's a duplicate, now what do I want to do? I want to remove this first row. Can you see that? I want to remove this first row. So how do I remove the first row? I want to remove the first row. Now you know that if I was removing columns, I would have used minus, is it not?
Yes.
Minus C. So the same thing that happens here. So if I put -1, it means what? -1 means what? Remove the first row. Can you see that?
Okay.
Remove what? The first what? Row. So what I'm going to do now, say data. So let me assign it back there. Data -1. So let's view now. View data. Can you see that? So that my this is now gone. Do you understand this now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is how you do your promote your row ahead. So if I want to remove blanks, how do I remove the blanks now? If I want to remove my heading, now how do I remove my heading?
Say is.any.
And that is to check now. Is.any.
Okay, you have to remove drop.any.
Drop. Isn't it? Now, but I want to remove it. So how can I remove it? If I want to remove everything, I'll say any dot what? Omit. Isn't it? This will watch, remove everything that is missing there. Can you see that? It will remove everything that is what? Missing there. Okay. So at least we have seen how to remove your rows. We have seen how to remove your columns. We have seen how to create your columns. We have seen how to promote header, isn't it? We have seen how to replace some values, right? So those are the basic things that we have looked at so far. So when we talk about exploration, manipulation, right? We know how to manipulate, that select our data, isn't it? We know how to select our data. We know how to filter, isn't it? We know how to filter, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I want that our next meeting now will just deal with visualization.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because you notice that when it comes to cleaning, at least most of the basics at least we have covered, right? It's just for you to practice because there's no way I can teach everything. If I teach as many as I can, you see some that you have never seen. So as long as you have the basics, you just keep improving on them, keep improving on them. See. So I think maybe next week we'll just go to visualization, but I'll just still check if we can, if there's anything to clean again. If anything to clean, I'll let you know. But if not, then we'll go to data visualization so we can go properly into our machine learning.
Machine learning.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, Dr. Francis.
Thank you very much,
Have
sir.
a great week, sir.
You too.
Have a great
All right. Okay.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.